back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Buhari promises to leave a legacy of modern and well-equipped police force, cautions against complacency in tackling rising crime rates in the country. FCT High Court grants EFCC leave to detain embattled former Minister of Justice Mohammed Adoke for 14 days, pending the completion of investigations of his alleged role in the Malabu oil scandal. Pretoria High Court dismisses application by a former leader of the Movement for the Emancipation of the Niger Delta, Henry Oka, challenging his trial and conviction for terrorism-related activities. And British members of Parliament back Prime Minister Boris Johnson's plan for the UK to leave the European Union on January the 31st. And for more information on our top stories and others, do visit our website, channelstv.com. youtube.com/channelsweb has videos of all our shows. Now, we received some pictures, and let's just share them with you, starting with these electricity cables, as you can see, which have not been active for some time. But that's according to our eyewitness from Warri Delta State, where he sent these pictures from. He claims that power is restored only twice a month, and that's in spite of having a prepaid meter. He wants the appropriate electricity distribution company to do something about it. And we've moved on to this image, which shows a young girl allegedly using a set of twins to beg for alms in Kitu, here in Lagos State. Our eyewitness reports that it was discovered that she is not the mother of the children after interrogation. Our eyewitness wants the Lagos State government to quickly look into the issue of beggars using children to carry out their acts. Finally, here's an image showing a refuse dump site at Fadeyi, also in Lagos State. Our eyewitness wants the Lagos State Waste Management Agency to attend to this. For all your pictures, thanks a lot. And please send us some more when you can. Let's take a look at security now. The Nigerian Air Force says its air task team has destroyed more logistics facilities belonging to the Islamic State of West Africa province in the northern part of Borno State. According to a statement by the Director of Air Force Public Relations, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, the strikes were carried out on December the 16th at Bakare, an island settlement within the Lake Chad green fringes. The statement adds that the target locations went up in flames due to the impact of the strike. The military had set up Operation Rattlesnake to neutralize pre-designated insurgent camps and logistics facilities and provide air support for the ground troops. And as a matter of security, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has been granted 14 days by the Federal Capital Territory High Court to detain a former Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Mohammed Adoke. Mr. Adoke was handed over to the EFCC by Interpol on Thursday and then taken into custody for his alleged involvement in the granting of the oil prospecting license OPL 245 to Shell and ENI. Justice Othman Musa of the FCT High Court, Warri, sitting as a vacation judge, gave the order to further detain the immediate past AGF and requested by the EFCC's counsel, Fatima Mustafa, to enable it conclude its investigations. The motion describes Mr. Adoke as a flight risk, having fled the country since 2015 when he learned that the Commission was carrying out discreet investigations surrounding his activities. Meanwhile, Mr. Adoke's lawyer, Mr. Michael Zekome, has described the detention of the former Minister of Justice as unnecessary. Mr. Zekome is also asking the EFCC to release his client on health grounds. In a statement, Mr. Zekome insisted that it was not necessary for the anti-graft agency to detain the former AGF since he returned to Nigeria voluntarily. He says, "It's quite surprising, if not distressing, to behold the EFCC obtaining a 2-week detention order to keep Mohammed Bello Adoke in its custody. This is a man they had already charged to court since 2017, even in absentia, whilst he was in the Netherlands pursuing his master's degree in international law." Mr. Adoke arrived in Nigeria from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates on Thursday after his release from detention by Interpol. Now let's cross over to Abuja, and here's Linda Akigbe. Linda? Hello, Ijoma. Now, staying with legal matters, but outside Nigeria, a Pretoria High Court has dismissed with cost Henry Oka's application challenging his trial and conviction on 13 counts of terrorism-related activities. The former leader of the movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta, who is currently serving a 24-year jail sentence, represented himself in the matter. Judge Mavundla ordered the applicants to pay the taxes and allowed costs for the state, the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Minister of Police. Our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, reports.
Mr. Henry Oka had approached the court seeking a declaratory order that his prosecution and conviction under South Africa's Anti-Terrorism Act 33 of 2004 be declared unlawful. We recall that he's serving a 24-year jail term for allegedly masterminding the bombings in Warri and Abuja that took place in 2010.
Judgment in the matter between Oka Henry Emomotimi and the state and 6 others.
Henry Oka's wife, Adoke, and his children sat at the back row of the court, hopeful. And Judge Moses Mavundla went straight to his orders.
In the result, the following order is made. 1, that the application is dismissed.
Madam, may I say something?
You're welcome to do that.
Yes, I actually intend, it's my intention to bring an application in terms of Rule 18 of the Rules of the Constitutional Court, to approach the Constitutional Court directly.
But I would advise you that make use of Mr. Ori's in respect of the avenue to follow, so that you do not end up in a cul-de-sac.
In the details of his judgment, Judge Mavundla agreed with the submission of the respondents that a decision contrary to a general principle that a convicted and sentenced person cannot appeal more than once would lead to a chaotic judicial situation. On the challenge over the trial court's jurisdiction, the judge also noted that since the applicant pleaded not guilty and exercised his right to silence in that court, the court is deemed to have jurisdiction, as he made no lack of jurisdiction plea from the start. As he left the court, we asked Mr. Oka if he is considering giving up or will definitely keep fighting on.
100%, Betty.
So what next?
I'm going to the Constitutional Court. I'm approaching the Constitutional Court directly. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, his lawyer thinks he will advise otherwise.
I would prefer that we start at the appeal court. He is of the opinion that we'll go straight to the Constitutional Court. That is not wrong. The problem with that is if the Concord sends us back to the appeal court, then we would have wasted 3 or 4 months.
The application for leave to appeal this judgment is expected to be filed by the 16th of January 2020, after which a hearing date will be set. From the North Gauteng High Court, Pretoria, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
Back in Nigeria, the Supreme Court has voided the candidacy of Mr. Uche Nwosu as the governorship flag bearer of the Action Alliance in Imo State in the 2019 general election over double nomination. The Apex Court, in its judgment delivered by Justice Adamu Oge, affirmed the ruling of the Court of Appeal Abuja Division, which earlier upheld the decision of the Federal High Court voiding Nwosu's candidature. A leader of the APC, Mr. Uche Nadi, had dragged Nwosu before the Federal High Court, which held that he was not qualified to run based on the fact that he already had a valid ticket of the All Progressives Congress. From the judiciary to the legislature, the National Assembly has passed a 278.78 billion naira 2020 budget for the Federal Capital Territory. This is against the proposed amount of 232.88 billion naira. During the last plenary session for 2019, the chairman of the FCT committee, Senator Abubakar Kyari, explained that the increase of 46 billion naira is aimed at addressing insecurity, road infrastructure, as well as development of satellite towns. Before adjourning till January the 28th of 2020, Senate President Ahmed Lawan announced Senator Smart Adeyemi as a new chairman of the Senate Committee on Aviation, replacing Senator Dino Melaye. Less than 24 hours after the state government issued an ultimatum to him, the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, has accepted his appointment as a chairman, Kano State Council of Chiefs.
Emir Sanusi's acceptance of the appointment is contained in a letter dated December 19, 2019, signed by the acting secretary of the Kano Emirate, Abba Yusuf. Part of the letter reads, "Kindly inform His Excellency that His Highness Serikin Kano has not rejected his appointment as Chairman, Kano State Council of Chiefs. His Highness accepted the appointment." In acceptance of the appointment, the Emir also requested further directives from the Governor on how to proceed. The letter reads further, "For clarity, these directives may include appointment of other members of the Council, staff appointment, provision of the Council Secretariat, and other logistics to make the Council operational." Governor Abdullahi Ganduje had given the monarch a 2-day ultimatum to either accept or reject the appointment. When the news at 10 returns, global ratings agency Fitch downgrades Nigeria's 2020 economic outlook to negative, cites risk from current fiscal and monetary policy regime. That's in business news. Plus, British members of Parliament back Prime Minister Boris Johnson's plan for the UK to leave the European Union on January 31st. And more from our London bureau in Around the World in 5. Join us again.